The Galactic Council had always seen humans as small and insignificant. To them, Earth was just another planet, one of many in a galaxy filled with advanced species. For centuries, the Council had watched Earth from afar, making sure the humans didn't cause too much trouble. They had their wars, their problems, but nothing that threatened the galaxy. The Council didn't care much about Earth. After all, humans didn't have the power to change anything. Or so they thought. The rumors started quietly, like whispers in the wind. At first, no one paid them much attention. But as the months went by, those whispers began to grow louder. Some said humans had found a way to travel faster than light, something that only the most advanced species in the galaxy had mastered. Others said that humans had been hiding their true strength, and they were now ready to show it to the universe. The Council dismissed the rumors. They had always dismissed humanity. There was no way that humans could have developed such technology. Their ships were old, their weapons primitive. They had nothing that could even come close to matching the power of the Council's fleet. But then, something happened. A scout from one of the Council's allied species made a discovery on the outskirts of the Milky Way. The scout had been sent to monitor Earth, as usual, but this time, they found something different. Something big. Hidden deep within Earth's atmosphere, far beyond what anyone could have expected, was a fleet of ships, and not just any ships. These were ships that could travel faster than light. The scout couldn't believe what they were seeing. There were dozens of them, all concealed from the rest of the galaxy. The scout immediately sent a message back to the Council, but the news was too shocking to be believed at first. The Council members gathered in an emergency meeting. They were angry. How could Earth have kept this a secret for so long? How could the humans have built a fleet like this without anyone knowing? The Council had always thought that humans were weak, but this discovery turned everything upside down. Some of the Council members were furious. They wanted to attack Earth, to destroy the fleet before it could become a threat. But others were more cautious. They knew that the humans had never shown any signs of aggression, and this fleet could simply be a defense mechanism. Perhaps they were just trying to protect themselves. But even so, the thought of humans having such power was unsettling. The Council had always believed that they were the most advanced species in the galaxy. Now, they weren't so sure. The rumors were true. Humans had been hiding something big, something that no one could have guessed. And now, the Council had to face the reality that Earth was not as weak as they had once thought. As the meeting continued, the Council struggled to decide what to do. Some argued that they should confront the humans immediately, demanding answers about their fleet. Others suggested sending a diplomatic envoy to speak with Earth's leaders, hoping to avoid conflict. But there was no consensus. The fear of the unknown was too strong. Meanwhile, on Earth, humans had no idea what the Council was planning. They had kept their fleet a secret for years, and the time had come for it to be revealed. The humans knew that the galaxy would be shocked, but they also knew that they had no choice. They had built this fleet to protect themselves, not to attack anyone. They had no intention of starting a war, but if the Council pushed them, they would be ready to fight. But for now, humanity waited. They knew that the Council would react. They just didn't know how. And in the silence that followed, a new chapter in galactic history was about to begin. The news spread fast across the galaxy. The Galactic Council had always been in control, thinking they knew everything about the other species. But now they had discovered something they never expected. Humans had been hiding a powerful secret. And the secret wasn't just a few small ships. It was a fleet capable of faster-than-light travel, something the Council thought only the most advanced species could master. As the Council members sat in their meeting rooms, their faces were filled with disbelief. For years, they had watched Earth with little concern. They had assumed that humans, with their wars and their small ships, were no threat to the galaxy. But now, that had all changed. One of the Council members, a tall, cold-looking alien with glowing blue eyes, spoke up first. "How could this happen?" he asked. How could humans hide something like this for so long? We've watched them for centuries. They've always been small and weak. How did they build a fleet like this without anyone knowing? The room was filled with murmurs as other members nodded in agreement. Everyone was shocked. A few whispered that the human fleet must be a trick, some kind of illusion, but the scout's report was clear. There was no trick. The fleet was real. The scout had discovered the fleet hidden deep within Earth's atmosphere, in a part of the planet where no one had thought to look. It wasn't just one or two ships. There were dozens, maybe hundreds. Each one of these ships was capable of jumping across space faster than light. The scout had even tried to track the ships, but they were so advanced that it was nearly impossible to follow them. The council didn't know what to think. They had always been the most powerful group in the galaxy, the ones who controlled the flow of information and technology. But now it seemed that Earth had something even more powerful than they had imagined, and they had kept it a secret all along. At the same time, on Earth, the human government was making plans of its own. The fleet was ready. The ships had been hidden for years, built in secret by the best scientists and engineers humanity could offer. These ships were meant to protect Earth from any galactic threat. But now, they were about to be revealed to the rest of the universe. The leaders of Earth had always known that one day they might have to reveal their fleet to the Galactic Council. They had kept it hidden for as long as they could, knowing that if the Council found out too soon, they might try to destroy it. But now, the time had come. It was impossible to keep the fleet a secret any longer. The Council was already on their way to Earth. In a public announcement, Earth's leaders addressed the galaxy. They spoke calmly, their voices steady. "We have something to show the galaxy," the human leader said. "A fleet that we have built in secret, capable of faster than light travel. This fleet is not meant for war, but for peace. We have hidden it to protect ourselves, but we no longer believe that we should keep it secret. We are ready to share this power with the galaxy." The words were simple, but they sent shockwaves through the galaxy. The Council, which had once seen humanity as weak, was now facing the truth. Humans had been hiding a secret, and that secret was more powerful than anything the Council had ever imagined. The news spread quickly. News channels across the galaxy broadcasted Earth's message. Alien species from all corners of the galaxy watched as the human leader spoke, their eyes wide with surprise. For many, this was the first time they realized that humans were not the weak, insignificant species they had fought. Back in the council chambers, the members were still struggling to come to terms with what they had just heard. Some were angry. They felt betrayed by the humans, who had hidden such a powerful fleet from them for so long. Others were nervous, wondering if this was the beginning of something dangerous. What if humans had been planning something all along? What if they were hiding even more? But there was one thing the council could not deny. Humanity had just revealed a power that no one had expected. And now, the galaxy would have to deal with the consequences. As the council members argued among themselves, the human fleet began to emerge from their hiding places. One by one, the ships appeared in the depths of space, showing off their incredible speed and power. They moved effortlessly from one place to another, jumping through space like it was nothing. The ships were sleek, dark, and built for war if necessary, though they seemed peaceful for now. The council was speechless. How had humans built these ships? How had they kept them hidden for so long? The answers were unclear, but one thing was certain. Humanity was no longer the weak species they had once been. They had a fleet that could rival anything the council had ever seen. The galaxy would never be the same again. The news hit the Galactic Council like a shockwave. For centuries, they had ruled the galaxy, controlling information, technology, and power. The council members had always believed they were the most advanced species, their fleets and weapons unmatched by anyone. They had watched Earth for years, thinking of humans as small, primitive creatures with no real importance in the galaxy. But now, everything had changed. The members of the council gathered in their meeting hall. their faces filled with disbelief. The human fleet, hidden for so long, was real. And it was far beyond anything the Council had ever expected. A fleet capable of faster-than-light travel. That was supposed to be the power of only the most advanced species, yet here were humans, out of nowhere, showing the galaxy that they were no longer weak. The humans. They're hiding a fleet. One of the Council members asked in a low, shaking voice. His species had long considered themselves the top of the galactic food chain. How? How could they have built this in secret? This changes everything. He wasn't the only one feeling shaken. The room was filled with panic, murmurs of fear spreading like wildfire. Some members wanted to believe this was a mistake, a trick, but the reports were clear. The fleet was real. And if humans had the technology to build it, then they were no longer the insignificant species the Council thought they were. The Council's leader, a tall, silver-skinned alien known for his calm and powerful presence, stood at the front of the room. His voice echoed in the chamber as he addressed the others. We need to remain calm. This could be an opportunity. If we approach the humans carefully, we might still be able to control this situation. But not everyone shared his confidence. Some members were already calling for action. We cannot wait. We must strike before they become too powerful, one alien shouted. His eyes were wide with fear. Humans have been hiding this for years. They've been building this fleet in secret while we've watched them as if they were nothing. If we don't act now, it will be too late. The leader of the Council raised his hand, silencing the room. If we act out of fear, we will make a grave mistake, he warned. We need more information. We need to understand what humanity's true intentions are before we do anything. But the panic was already spreading. Council members began to argue. Some wanted to send spies to Earth, hoping to find out more about the human fleet. Others insisted on sending a delegation, thinking that diplomacy could calm things down. They had always assumed they were the ones in control, but now they feared that the humans had the power to turn the tables. One by one, the Council members spoke up, each voice growing more desperate. What if this is a weapon? Another member asked. What if they've been preparing to take over the galaxy all along? Another member, her skin glowing with a soft, green light, spoke slowly. I don't think humans are planning an invasion. They have shown no sign of aggression. But if they have this fleet, they can defend themselves against anything. Maybe they've only built it for protection. No, a different voice cut in. Humans are unpredictable. They could use this fleet to attack anyone they choose. They've kept this a secret for years, and now they're telling us they have this power. They can't be trusted. The arguments continued, but in the back of the room, the Council leader was deep in thought. He knew the situation was delicate. If the Council moved too quickly, they might spark a war with Earth. But if they did nothing, humanity might grow even stronger, and the Council would lose its place as the galaxy's dominant power. They had always believed that the human race was too small to be a real threat. Now, it seemed that belief had been wrong. Finally, the leader spoke again. We will send a message to Earth. We will request a meeting with their leaders. It is the only way to find out the truth behind this fleet. We will approach them cautiously. If they truly wish to keep the peace, we will give them the chance. But even as he spoke, doubt filled the room. Some members weren't sure about diplomacy. What if the humans were hiding even more than they had revealed? What if they had built even more powerful weapons in secret? A deep, uncomfortable silence filled the room as everyone waited. The reality of the situation was sinking in. The Council could no longer treat humans as a minor species. Earth's fleet, powerful and secretive, had changed everything. The humans were no longer the small, weak species the Council had once ignored. They were a force to be reckoned with, and no one knew what that would mean for the galaxy. The leader looked around the room at the frightened faces of the other members. He knew that the galaxy had just entered a new era, one where humanity would play a major role. But whether that role would be peaceful or violent was something no one could predict. The panic in the room grew, and the council was left with one hard truth. The galaxy would never be the same again. As the Galactic Council scrambled to figure out how to deal with humanity's surprise fleet, Earth remained calm. The leaders of the human world knew the eyes of the galaxy were now on them, but they didn't panic. They didn't even flinch. On Earth, life continued as usual. People went about their daily routines, unaware of the galaxy-wide tension growing in the shadows. But their leaders were fully aware of the gravity of the situation. The message they had sent to the council had been clear. Humans had a fleet. They had nothing to hide. And now, it was time to wait and see how the council would respond. Inside the United Nations headquarters, the leaders of Earth met to discuss their next move. The room was filled with tense faces, but the humans didn't show fear. They had built this fleet to protect themselves, not to provoke war. Still, the reality that the entire galaxy now knew about their power was something no one had expected. President Hernandez stood at the head of the table. His eyes were sharp, focused. "The council has sent their response," he said. "They want to meet with us. They want to talk." One of the generals, a tall woman with short, dark hair, spoke up. "This is our chance to show them we're not here to start a war. We have to stay calm. We have to prove that we only want peace." Another leader, a man with graying hair and a calm demeanor, nodded. "The fleet is a tool for defense, nothing more. We can't let the council think we've built it to attack. If we're careful, we can keep the peace." Hernandez looked around at the gathered leaders. He could see the concern in their eyes, but he also saw determination. They knew the risks, but they also knew they couldn't back down now. The galaxy had been watching them for years, seeing them as nothing more than a small, insignificant species. Now, humanity had shown it was more than that. And they weren't going to let anyone push them around. "Prepare for the meeting," Hernandez ordered. "We're not going to blink. We have nothing to fear. We'll explain ourselves, but we won't back down. We'll make it clear that we are not looking for a fight." The next day, a message from the Galactic Council arrived. It was simple and direct. "We wish to speak with Earth's leaders at once. Our representatives will arrive in your space within the next 48 hours. The humans were ready. The fleet was still hidden for now, but every ship was on alert. The Council's representatives were coming to Earth to speak, but the humans had made it clear they would not be intimidated. They would stand firm, no matter what. As the 48-hour countdown began, the human fleet prepared for whatever might come next. The ships stayed in their secret locations, hidden away, their weapons silent, but the crews were ready. They had been waiting for this moment. The galaxy had always seen humanity as weak, as just another small planet with nothing of real value. But now, they had the power to show the Council that they were wrong. The human fleet wasn't just a symbol of strength. It was a reminder that Earth was no longer a place to be ignored. On the eve of the meeting, President Hernandez stood alone in his office, looking out over the city below. The sun was setting, casting a golden light over the world. He thought about what was coming. The Council's representatives would arrive soon. There was no turning back now, but Hernandez didn't feel fear. He felt pride. He was proud of what humanity had accomplished, proud that they had built something that no one had expected. The next morning, the Galactic Council's representatives arrived in Earth's orbit. Their ships were large, intimidating, and heavily armed. But even as their ships descended into Earth's atmosphere, the humans didn't blink. They remained calm, knowing that the fleet they had hidden for so long was more than enough to protect them. The Council's representatives made their way to Earth's capital, where the meeting was set to take place. They landed, their ships slowly touching the ground with a soft hum. As they disembarked, they were met by President Hernandez and his team of advisors. The council members, with their glowing eyes and tall, intimidating forms, stood silently before the humans. The atmosphere was thick with tension. The humans were outnumbered, but their confidence was clear. They had nothing to hide. Hernandez stepped forward. extending his hand to the leader of the council delegation. "Welcome to Earth," he said calmly. "We've been waiting to speak with you." The council leader didn't respond immediately. He simply studied Hernandez with cold, calculating eyes. He had expected the humans to be nervous, perhaps even frightened. But instead, he saw only calm resolve. "We've come to understand your fleet," the council leader said finally. "Explain why you kept it a secret." "We built it to protect ourselves," Hernandez replied. "We never meant to keep it from you, but we couldn't trust the galaxy with that knowledge until we knew we were ready." The council leader nodded, though his face remained unreadable. "And now, you are ready." "Now we are," Hernandez said firmly. "We're ready to defend our planet and our people, but we don't want war. We want peace, and we're here to prove that." As the conversation continued, the humans stood strong. They didn't back down, and they didn't show fear. They had made it clear, Earth wasn't going to blink. Not now, not ever. The meeting between Earth's leaders and the Galactic Council was tense, but the humans stood firm. President Hernandez made it clear that humanity had no interest in starting a war. They just wanted peace, but not everyone in the Galactic Council felt the same way. Some saw the human fleet as a challenge, while others feared what it might mean for their own power. As the humans and the council continued to talk, the discussions grew heated. The room was filled with strong opinions, each council member pushing their own agenda. Some wanted to take a peaceful approach, while others believed humanity's fleet was too dangerous to ignore. One council member, a tall alien with shimmering blue skin, spoke up. "We cannot let this go on," she said, her voice sharp. "Humans have hidden this fleet for years. Who knows what else they're keeping from us? If we don't act now, they could become a threat to the entire galaxy." Her words caused a stir among the other council members. Some nodded in agreement, their faces filled with worry. Others, however, were not so quick to jump to conclusions. A quieter voice, belonging to a member with glowing green eyes, spoke calmly. "We need to think carefully. Humans have shown no sign of aggression. They've made it clear they only want peace. If we strike now, we might be making a huge mistake. We need to understand them better before we do anything drastic." The blue-skinned alien scoffed. "Understand them? We've watched them for centuries. They're unpredictable. They might say they want peace, but how can we trust them when they've hidden this fleet from us? What if they have even more powerful weapons?" President Hernandez stood at the front of the room, watching the arguments unfold. He could feel the tension rising, and he knew that the council was divided. Some wanted peace, but others were eager for war. He had to make sure that Earth stayed on track. "Listen," Hernandez said, raising his hand to silence the room. "We're not here to fight. We've already shown you our fleet. We don't want to use it unless we have to. We're not looking for enemies. We're looking for allies." A council leader, an imposing figure with dark purple skin, looked at Hernandez with a mixture of skepticism and curiosity. "You say you want peace, but can we trust you?" he asked. "Your fleet is massive. How can we be sure you're not planning something we don't know about?" "We've kept the fleet a secret because we had to," Hernandez replied. "The galaxy has never given us a reason to trust it, but now we're showing you what we have. We want to make sure that no one feels threatened by us." The Galactic Council's debate continued. The room was filled with shouting and accusations. Some members believed that humans could not be trusted. They saw the fleet as a symbol of hidden power, one that could easily be used to overpower anyone who opposed them. Others, however, believed that humanity's desire for peace was genuine. They saw Earth's willingness to show the fleet as a sign of transparency. But even among those who wanted peace, there were concerns. What if the humans changed their minds? What if they decided to use their fleet for conquest, to expand their influence across the galaxy? The Council had seen many species rise and fall, and they were not willing to let humanity's power catch them off guard. In the midst of the argument, a quiet voice from the back of the room interrupted. It was a member with pale white skin, his eyes deep and thoughtful. "What if there's another way?" he asked. "What if we offer humanity a choice, a chance to join the Galactic Council? If they are truly looking for peace, then we can work together. We don't have to be enemies." The room fell silent. It was a bold suggestion, one that none of the council members had considered. If humanity could be brought into the fold, they would no longer be a threat. Instead, they would be an ally with a powerful fleet, but one that could work alongside the council for mutual benefit. President Hernandez looked around the room, his expression thoughtful. This was the opportunity he had been hoping for. "We would be honored to join the Galactic Council," he said, his voice steady. "But we need to make sure that the rest of the galaxy sees us as equals, not as a threat. We're not here to dominate anyone. We're here to help." The council leader nodded slowly, considering the proposal. "This is something we will need to discuss," he said. "But it is clear that humanity is not the threat some of us feared. Perhaps there is a way to work together." But not everyone agreed. The blue-skinned alien who had spoken earlier slammed her fist on the table. "This is a mistake," she said, her voice filled with anger. "We cannot trust them. Their fleet is too powerful. If we allow them to join the council, we risk losing our control. They will change everything." The room erupted into more shouting, with some council members arguing for peace and others pushing for war. The debate raged on, the future of the galaxy hanging in the balance. President Hernandez remained calm, even as the tension in the room grew. He knew that the path to peace would not be easy. There would always be those who wanted war, but he also knew that humanity had shown something important. They had shown the galaxy they were ready to stand up for themselves, not to attack, but to protect. And in that, there was hope. The debate within the Galactic Council had gone on for hours. Some members wanted peace, others wanted war, and there was no clear answer. Tension filled the room, thick and heavy. But while the council argued, humans were preparing for something big. They had waited for years for a moment like this, and now it was time to act. President Hernandez knew the council would never agree quickly. They were too divided, but that didn't matter. Earth couldn't afford to wait any longer. It was time to show the galaxy what humanity was truly capable of. Back on Earth, the hidden fleet of human ships was moving. Quietly and swiftly, the massive ships began to leave their secret locations. They moved toward their designated positions in space, ready for whatever might come next. The fleet was vast, more powerful than anything the galaxy had seen, but it moved with precision and care. There was no sign of aggression. The humans were not trying to pick a fight. They were simply showing that they had the strength to protect themselves if needed. On Earth's surface, President Hernandez stood in his office, staring out at the horizon. The sun was setting, casting a golden glow over the world. He felt a sense of calm, but he knew that things were about to change. The fleet's movement had been carefully planned, but it was a risk. If the council reacted the wrong way, things could quickly spiral out of control. But Hernandez had faith in humanity's ability to stand strong. "We've done everything right," he said to his advisor, General Martinez, who was standing beside him. "Now we wait." The general nodded, though his face was filled with concern. "I just hope the council understands we don't want war. We're not trying to take over. We just want to protect our planet." Hernandez turned to look at the general. "They'll see it, Martinez. They'll see that we're not their enemy." Up in space, the fleet continued to move, passing silently through the void. The ships were sleek and powerful, each one a masterpiece of human engineering. They didn't show any signs of aggression, but they were ready for anything. The crews aboard each ship were prepared for the worst, but they were also hopeful. This wasn't about starting a war. It was about showing the galaxy that humanity could stand tall. The council, however, didn't know what to make of it. The ships were moving, but they weren't attacking. They were simply positioning themselves, as if waiting for something. Some of the council members were uneasy, not sure what the humans were planning. Others were starting to understand. Humanity wasn't trying to start a war. They were simply making sure the galaxy knew they could defend themselves if it came to that. The council leader, the one with dark purple skin, stood before the group, staring at the data coming in from the human fleet. "What are they doing?" he asked, his voice filled with suspicion. "They're showing us their strength," replied a council member with red scales, her eyes narrowing. "They're making it clear they have the power to protect themselves. But why now? Why move their ships at this moment?" "I think," the purple-skinned leader said slowly, "they're trying to send a message. They want us to know they're not afraid. They want us to understand that they're not going to back down. And that's something we need to take seriously." The council members were quiet. Some were still angry, thinking the humans were being too bold. Others, though, began to see the wisdom in the humans' actions. If the fleet hadn't moved, the galaxy would have always questioned Earth's power. But now, humanity had shown its hand. The humans were ready, and the council couldn't ignore it. Back on Earth, President Hernandez continued to watch as the fleet made its move. He knew that it was a calculated risk, but he also knew that humanity's place in the galaxy had to change. They could no longer be seen as weak. They had to be respected, and the only way to earn that respect was to show that they could defend their world, and that they would. As the human ships neared their positions, the council finally made their move. A message was sent to Earth, asking for a meeting. The humans were to come to the table once more. But this time, the tone was different. The Galactic Council was no longer demanding answers. They were asking for cooperation. The humans had made their move, and now the council had to respond. The meeting was scheduled, and President Hernandez knew it would be a turning point. Would the council finally recognize humanity as an equal, or would they still see them as a threat? On Earth, the mood was tense, but there was also hope. The fleet was in position, and the humans were ready. They had shown the galaxy they were not to be underestimated. They had made their move. And now it was time to see how the galaxy would react. The Galactic Council sat in silence, their eyes fixed on the screens in front of them. The message from Earth had arrived, and it was unlike anything they had expected. Humanity had made its move, and now they had to respond. Some council members were still uncertain. Others were worried, and a few were beginning to realize that the galaxy was about to change forever. The leader of the council, the purple-skinned figure who had always been the voice of authority, stood up. His heart was heavy with doubt. He had seen many species rise and fall, but the humans were different. They were not like the other species that had come and gone. Humanity was strong, and their fleet was a powerful reminder of that. But could they be trusted? "We need to make a decision," the leader said, his voice low and steady. "This isn't just about Earth. It's about the future of the entire galaxy." A murmur went through the room. The tension was thick, and the weight of the decision was clear. The council had always been in control. They had made the rules, and the galaxy had followed. But now, with humanity's fleet in position and their power on display, things were changing. One of the older council members, a creature with 4 arms and scales that shimmered in the light, spoke up. "We've never seen anything like this before. Humanity has shown that they are capable of great strength. But can we trust them to use that strength wisely? They're unpredictable. If we allow them to join the council, we might be letting in a wild card." The purple-skinned leader looked around the room, his eyes scanning the faces of his fellow council members. "We have to decide whether to treat them as equals or as a threat. The longer we wait, the harder it will be to control them." Another council member, a young alien with glowing blue eyes, shook their head. "We can't control them. No one can. But perhaps that's not what we need to do. Maybe we need to change the way we think. The galaxy is not as it was before. Humanity has shown that they have the power to stand up for themselves. They don't need our permission to exist." The purple-skinned leader frowned. "Are you suggesting we just let them do whatever they want?" "No, The young alien replied, "But we can't ignore the fact that humanity is changing the balance of power in the galaxy. We have to face the reality that things will never be the same again. If we want peace, we have to learn how to work with them, not against them." The debate continued, with some council members agreeing and others resisting the idea of working with humanity. The fear of losing control was strong, but the truth was undeniable. The galaxy was shifting, and the council had to decide whether they were going to adapt or risk being left behind. Back on Earth, President Hernandez was receiving constant updates. The council's message had been clear. They were willing to talk, but the future was uncertain. Humanity had made its move, but now they had to wait and see if the galaxy was ready for them. Hernandez paced in his office, thinking about the council's response. He knew that humanity's position in the galaxy had changed forever. They had shown their strength, but that didn't mean the galaxy would welcome them with open arms. There were those who feared Earth's power, and others who simply didn't understand humanity. But Hernandez remained hopeful. He believed that peace could be achieved, if only the council was willing to see humanity for what it truly was, a species capable of great power, but also one with the potential for great wisdom. As the council continued to debate, the leader finally spoke again, his voice filled with resolve. "I believe we have no choice but to accept the fact that humanity has changed the galaxy. But we must be careful. We cannot let them disrupt the balance we have fought so hard to maintain. If we are going to accept them, we must do it on our terms." The room went silent. The decision was not easy, but the council had come to a conclusion. They would offer humanity a place within the Galactic Council, but on one condition. Humanity would have to prove that they could work within the existing framework of the galaxy. They could not be allowed to disrupt the peace that had been established for so long. The purple-skinned leader looked directly at the screen where President Hernandez's image appeared. "We are willing to accept you, humanity, but know this. You are not above the rest of us. If you want to join the Galactic Council, you must show that you can work within the rules we have set. If you prove yourselves, you will have a place here. But if you challenge us, we will not hesitate to act." President Hernandez nodded. He had expected as much, but it didn't matter. The important thing was that the council had acknowledged humanity's strength. Now it was time to prove that they could work together for the good of the galaxy. As the message ended, President Hernandez turned to his advisors. "This is just the beginning. We've shown them what we're capable of. Now we show them what we can do with them. We will prove that humanity can be a force for peace, not just war." The council had made its decision. The galaxy was changing, and humanity was at the center of it all. But whether they would rise to the challenge or fall into conflict remained to be seen. The future of the galaxy hung in the balance, and humanity's next move would determine everything.